Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Kimbo here, and it's time for an epic discussion video, theory discussion video. Got a couple in mind with things, like I said, it wouldn't probably be the last one with the last one. Usually say that and then get some inspiration for some stuff. Honestly, I got like two in mind, and after this, I don't know if there's honestly any more that I can make right now. It's just gonna be about seeing the show and what the hell happens. But 2 points with things. They'll be shorter discussion videos compared to the previous ones. But with this, we're going to call this one Zero KUROSU, or KUROSU Zero Unmasked. So if you don't want spoilers on season 3, of course you want to click away. But yeah, basic synopsis. We have the original X Tower we've known since season 1. In season 1, Persona getting established by Bird or Robin and Common X, Masked X, going all the way back. They made Persona, and we saw them fight up the X, the top of the tower, one of the towers, the Slash Tower, for the first season. Then in the second season, explored things with the other side of things with the Solidus Tower, the other tower, a part of the X. And then we saw like Team Zodiac and everything. Of course, Team Pendragon on the side of the Slash Tower being at the top. Zodiac on the top of the Solidus Tower. Zodiac beating Pendragon, not complete, but Then becoming the Super Champions. Persona winning up through the Star Battle, fighting Zodiac at the end, getting the win, and then leading to this season 3, where a new X Tower has appeared, a second one has appeared in a different part of the city, completely shrouded in darkness, except nobody knew about it, except for the man who caused it to happen, KUROSU Zero, or Zero KUROSU, with his 9 kids, named respectively 1 through 9, unleashed on X City. But of course, the 10th kid, the secret kid, if you will, being X, our own X of KUROSU. So, yeah, or Jackson Cross, as you know him as. We've seen the battles with 3, 4, 5, and 8 getting unleashed, and then like the future pros from the underworld of underworld underpros being turned into future pros, and Gigatani defecting from the tower, going over and causing a bunch of chaos, joining the true X Tower. Thinking he's in charge of the now future pros when he's not. Baito, usurping him, basically being the one that's watched over the underworld since season 2 when we saw it introduced. Takes control back, Gigatani, getting escorted out, leading up to big time battles, culminating with the first part of the arc with 3, 4, 5, and 8. Persona that loses to them, but then Zodiac beats them, 3, 4, 5, and 8. Zero casts them off to the side, saying they're basically useless at this point. And then after that battle, Persona went and trained with Zodiac. Team Pendragon also left the city because after those battles happened, Chrome and X faced off. X won, but X's face changed and his aura and everything to where even Chrome was scared. And he's like, yo, X. And, hinting at things, foreshadowing with things. But leading to the end of the first arc. Well, the first half of the arc. The second half of the arc, Persona goes and trains with Zodiac. And then at the same time, Pendragon also leaves X City, leaving all the other pros in the X Tower vulnerable. They're fighting back against the KUROSU clan, but then KUROSU 1 shows up, who's advertised as the strongest of all of them, and then absolutely obliterates everybody who won against the future pros or such, basically wiping out anybody who had a chance. Persona returns after training with Zodiac to Zero, greeting them and being like, hey, 99% of the Bladers and such have been taken out. It's down to the 1%. All of the remaining 1% who haven't lost to us already can come to the true X Tower and try to battle your way up it. Which is what's leading to us where things are right now. We saw floor 20, which being starting off with Quinn facing off against 1. 1 absolutely demolishes Quinn in a battle. And then when it's Persona's turn, 9 steps up. Because she's the one of the KUROSU clan that actually defected from the KUROSU clan to help Persona and warn them about everything and be like, that's not the future I want to see. Zero's future, hell no. Persona and the true X, not the true X, Persona and the original X's view It's what I want to see. The True X's vision, I don't want to see. You know, basically floor 20 being a warning shot because 1 took out Quinn, and then 1 ended up also beating 9. X faced 1, but then it was a draw, but that was by design. 1 wanted that to happen because it was under Zero's orders. Now seeing the 20th floor with things, Kiwami, who was an amateur blader that Pokken asked to help with things, he made Unicorn Delta for Kiwami. She ended up using it and then trying to battle on the 40th floor of the True X Tower. But then we get KUROSU 2 showing up, Bullet Griffin, never before, at least in X, seen gimmick where it splits and then gets absolutely bodied. Kiwami gets bodied by 2. And then leading to where things are right now. And during that battle, X, when he was looking, the smile on his face, like this foreshadowed for stuff. If you've seen my other theories, you know what I'm talking about. But that's the lead up to everything here now. And now we're talking about a few things with this. I'm going to talk about battles that definitely need to happen with this, as well as like the build up to how this happens, you know. With these theories, I always say it's speculation. It can age like milk. It can age like wine. A lot of them have been aging like wine to the point where it's not even wine, it's straight liquor right now, being bang on about a lot of the stuff that's even occurred at this stage and leading into how things will go. I said at the beginning, it's going to be absolutely devastating with the season if any of this happens. And a lot of it's gone down this way, how some of it's even been worse than I thought. And that's scary to think. But now, 40th floor, right? This last episode, the latest one I've seen, 127, seen subbed. I'm waiting for 128. It dropped, but not subbed yet. If you've seen it, please don't spoil me on it. I'm avoiding the internet and everything for it, just waiting for it to get subbed so I can understand. I'll watch it when it does get subbed, you know. But Multi's going to face off against 2. With this battle, I think Multi is going to get by 2 because it's the debut of Night Fortress, and I don't think they're going to have Night Fortress lose against Bullet Griffin. You know, maybe by design she loses because maybe Zero tells her to, or not. We'll have to see with that. But Zero has predicted everything with 100% accuracy, and that was even said at the beginning of this season. Like KUROSU Zero, his predictions are 100% accurate. They're always accurate. It's always whatever he thinks is gonna happen, it happens. But yeah, and even with this, he's like, this is gonna happen, then this is gonna happen. Like looking into the future, you know what I mean? But I see Multi facing 2 and getting the win against 2, which after that, it'll lead them to battle onto the 60th floor, because they'll get by the 40th floor challenge. There's a challenge on the 60th floor, there's a challenge on the 80th floor, and then the True X Tower battle at the top on the 100th floor. On the 60th floor, we're gonna see KUROSU 6 KUROSU's debut. He's gonna have Brachio Whip. Out of the Bladers, we've seen X battle, we've seen Multi battle. We haven't seen Bird or Robin battle. So maybe Robin takes on 6. I wonder, maybe this might be, I don't know. Will he get his first big time win? Like, I don't know if he'll get like a first big time official win. I'm not sure with it. You know what I mean? Maybe it might end with a draw or something with that even. But they're building up to Bird's first official like big time win for sure. It's going to be at a very pivotal point. And he's going to drop jaws across the world. I still stand by that, man. They're building him up as the ultimate underdog. But maybe he gets by things with the 60th floor. Then the 80th floor, that'll be KUROSU 7. You know, 7 KUROSU. So made the joke about 6 or 7 showing up, like 2, 6, and 7. LOL. I had to. 7 KUROSU showing up here. Because Ring Aether or Heaven's Ring, you know, the random booster and stuff, which still impossible to get that in Glory Valkyrie, by the way. I hope they fix the distribution. But battling against, you know, 7. And I don't know, the way they built up 7, like the silhouettes and everything, 6 seems like he's going to be that just no holds barred, like kind of rugged or rough around the edges, like training tough guy type of blader. You know, probably going off training by himself, like some kind of Free De La Hoya vibes of him, you know, going off and training by himself, but having big time power and stuff, because all the KUROSU clan members are strong, you know what I mean? I see that being 6 is maybe his demeanor with things. 7 is like reserved as well in their own way. I think it's she. It looks like she, you know. But she's reserved in her own way. And I mean, it would be cool. I made a theory, like, what if like one of the remaining kids was like a Bay tuber, like kind of like how Pokken is, like a Bay crab or like Bay tuber type of thing, you know, like how Pokken and Multi are or Uni, you know what I mean? What if Seven's like that, and like Seven just doesn't go out much or something, and then like, because it's like we see the design of Seven, but then we see the avatar with the wings, so it only makes sense like maybe Seven has an avatar because Seven never goes out and then uses that avatar to go and like speak or battle or stuff, you know what I mean? Well, Seven actually sits behind the computer and controls it. Maybe something like that, you know, and the avatar is just like the actual like live version that goes out, you know what I mean? Like actual Seven doesn't. It's kind of like how Ryu is, you know, from Team Goldius, kind of like her, except never goes out. You know, Ryu does go out on occasions, even when she doesn't want to, but like Seven maybe never ever does. But then they get by like the thing with Seven. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna get really more sinister with this, and like maybe there's gonna be cheating involved or something, and then with the true battle, like after those battles, it'll be the true X Tower battle on the top. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is where some bullshit's gonna happen. All right. One of the things I think, getting into the first part of this, battles that I think should happen or are gonna happen, that like need to happen with this. The main ones being 1 and 0, obviously involving them. But like with 1 I think is like the number 4 blader right now. Above him being Omega, Chrome, and X, because he hasn't full-fledged like beat them. But he's a solid 4. Nobody else is getting by him. But he beats any of those bladers, it'll establish him. I feel like we should see 1 versus Omega and 1 versus Chrome. Especially those battles happen and X watches it, especially if like 1 gets by Chrome. Because nobody's beaten Chrome except for X. So if 1 gets by Chrome too, that would obviously fire X the hell up, and that'll lead up to like the big battle. Maybe it's like 1 gets by Omega, and then 1 gets by Chrome. And then you get the build up with 1 and X. But those are definitely battles that for sure have to happen with them. And 0 stepping up with this too. 0, the question is, who the hell is 0 gonna face? I see it being members of Persona. I don't know if 0, I mean, it'll be cool if like 0 faced Omega and also faced off against Chrome. Those are battles I'd love to see as well. 0 definitely like facing X, that being another one. But yeah, I've got a bad feeling with things because I feel like it's going to be like the more sinister side, where like how the Dark Nebula got even worse when things went along. You know, because obviously Metal Fusion, Doji, the Dark Nebula, how we had the Dark Nebula organization, tried to use all the bladers as pawns so that Ryuga can get the ultimate power with Lightning El Drago. You know, being his number 2 member of the Dark Nebula originally, but then turning on him, actually revealing Reggie during Battle Bladers, who was a real sinister blader. He broke bays, you know, like Hioma's Bay, Kenta Sagittario, you know. But you fought Reggie and was gonna lose, but then he used the rest of his power to escape and go ask Jinga and his friends for help. Doji's like, not having any of that. Brought you back to the Dark Nebula and fed him to basically Ryuga, like his Bay Libra and his power to El Drago to make it stronger, you know. I'm pretty sure they did the same thing with Reggie. But basically, him going down this route, comparing this to how Doji was, him doing that with 9. Because they've been trying to get 9 back. Like 1 even said, like, 9, come back to us. And she's like, no, I won't. And, you know, what if he brainwashes her or something and makes it where 9 has to go back? And then, like, at the top of the tower, we see 9 flip. You know what I mean? Kind of have a little heel turn, if you will, talking about wrestling terms, you know, because in wrestling, there's the face, the good guy, the heel, bad guy. When a good guy turns bad, you know, a heel turn, if you will. Kind of like if you've seen wrestling recently, Lyra Valkyria did this with Bailey. Heel turn, you know, like that. Or like a bad guy turning into a good guy, which I hope will be the case of the KUROSU clan kids realizing Zero's bullshit, and then they end up trying to go and help out Persona and the True X and the original X Tower and leave the True X Tower. Will it happen? I don't know. But I feel like Zero has them all on a web, but especially like how he's done 9, because he's already taken the data from the custom expand blades and everything and used that data to make his own bays with a unique line with Bullet Griffin, with Bahamut Blitz, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I got a bad feeling with things with 9. Like, she's basically like the you, maybe, of this season, except with the KUROSU clan, like of this gen and this season. And he tries to take her back, and then like he brainwashes her or something. And who's to say he's not gonna do that with the rest of the kids? What if like he fully does this with like 2 and 6 and 7? You know, even bring back 3, 4, 5, and 8, and like it ups their power or something. Like he does some arrangement or something, because they've shown like the tech that all the kids sat with growing up and everything. He had them under like computer tech and had like goggles on and stuff. And it felt like arrangements. Now this is the vibes of like Dr. Ziggurat from Hades Inc. in Metal Fight during season 2. You know, we saw Doji in season 1, like Metal Fusion of Metal Fight Beyblade. In season 2 of Metal Fight Beyblade, Dr. Ziggurat, because he used the Dark Nebula organization to send El Drago to Coma Village, basically like expanding on the things that happened with Ryuga in the first season and everything to this level, like, you know. But Dr. Ziggurat used the arrangement system basically to up the power of bladers that could handle it, which ended up being Jack, Zio, and Damien, you know, for Starbreaker, his team that he had, who ended up being like the team that went against Gang Gang Galaxy in the finals, completely obliterated Excalibur beforehand, and still got number 2. But Gang Gang Galaxy won, but like, you know, basically that. But what if Zero did this type of thing with all the kids, where he had them go through arrangements and stuff growing up, and it's just showing up that much more with them, and he brings it out truly at this stage where they're all grown, you know? And it's just exhibiting the most with the kids that are at the top. Like, maybe we'll see it with their demeanors, like 2, 6, 7, and 1, especially 1. We're seeing it with 1 already, but also X, because X is the 10th kid. Remember, he got orphaned when he was little. And he lived with Ginro. Ginro was like his father growing up, and then he ended up going into X City and joining Pendragon and everything, and the rest is history from there. But yeah, what if Zero knew that this was going to go wild with X? And I'm nervous at 2 of the things happening, like him brainwashing like 9, but also like X and that power coming out, because he did like some kind of arrangement to where like the rage comes out of these kids and it makes them that much more like in the zone with things, you know, like the stress and stuff. He's already done with 3, 4, 5, and 8, with them fearing that they get abandoned if they lose, and it made them perform better, you know, a bit. So imagine we get that on the scale with these top level KUROSU clan kids, like 2, 6, 7, and 1, and also 9 if she gets brainwashed with things. That'll be a huge turn on Persona, especially if 9 goes and turns. That'll be a bigger wall for them to overcome. But maybe they get through them, you know, 2, 6, 7, 9, they get by all of them. Maybe they save 9. Maybe they go through, and I hope they have the story of like going through and we see the backstory for all the kids, like 1 through 9, you know what I mean? Obviously 1 and 2 are going to be the toughest ones to break through with that. Maybe they realize it at the end because how Zero treats them, you know, especially like 2. 2 is like loyal as hell to Zero. So, you know, they're going to have to really go through and like win big time battles against them to like knock some sense into them or something, you know. But I've said this from the jump, 1 is advertised as the strongest one, so when 1 loses, that's where shit's gonna fully hit the fan with this season. Like, it's gonna be bad, you know. Maybe after that Zero shows up with his bae or something, because at that point they've all had their roles in his eyes, and then he shows up because we know Glory Valkyrie's a thing. Maybe, you know, he shows up with Glory Valkyrie then. He still hasn't shown up fully with Valkyrie Volt. We've seen like a silhouette of it, but we haven't seen him use it yet. So yeah, I would imagine him using like Valkyrie Volt and then Glory Valkyrie afterwards. But we have to wait and see how things go with it. But yeah, still, it's gonna be wild with this. But I imagine after 1 loses, that's being where things go wild. And I think there might be only 1 blader who can get by 1. Like I said, if he gets by Chrome, he gets by Omega, there's only going to be 1 blader in the way. That'll be X. And then X manages to get by 1, but both of their powers go absolutely rogue, because we're not going to see 1 hold anything back with this. The first battle was just like, you know, him playing around. He's like, next time I won't be playing. He said that on the 20th floor. So maybe it is only X that can get by him. Or Jackson Cross, you know, X or KUROSU. But when he does, what happened with X and Chrome at the end of the first half of this arc, where X's power is starting to go rogue, that was a warning. That was like a precursor, because we saw the power on him going wild, and even Chrome was like, whoa, he's not the same X that I know, like in Pendragon originally, when he was originally a part of Pendragon before he left Pendragon and then put on the Common X mask, and then the whole story was season 1, finding Bird, like Bird finding him and then making Persona and everything. You know what I mean? This is where it truly gets bad. Like after this battle, it gets bad. X's power goes fully rogue, and that's what Zero wants, like the rage and everything to come out or such. And these two non-losing bladers that are so strong, that are both his kids, he just saw them exhibit the power differently. So he always trusted his faith in the one with all these things, but he's truly trying to get to X. So he's sitting back and watching it because he knows when 1 and X face off, shit's gonna hit the fan, and then whoever wins that is going rogue at the end. So even when he was like, you'll win next time, right? He said that to 1. And then 1 saying, if you ask me to. And then he kind of like, it felt like he laughed at that. Because it's like he knows, even at this stage, like, next time you're going to face off, but you're going to be surprised because you're going to lose. You're going to lose your first battle. But I'm truly trying to get to X. Because X's power going rogue. We even see the sinister smile and everything now. And it's not his fault. You know, don't get this wrong. He's not doing it by choice. It's that, like, his power's starting to go rogue and it's overtaking him to where he doesn't know what's happening, and also Persona doesn't know what's happening. But it's gonna happen, and it's gonna go full rogue. Probably the battle with 1, when they're using full power, truly, and they break beyond the limits of things and expand beyond that with their expand line bays, like Bahamut Blitz and Dran Strike truly showing their power. It's gonna go nuts. And then with it, you notice something with one of the previous battles? Remember when X was gonna demask after 1 beat 9, he was gonna take his mask off? But then he did take his mask off, but Zero cut the feed before anybody could see it. That was by design. Zero knows that X of KUROSU, or X, Blader X is the symbol of X City. And Persona's the last hope right now. It's literally like Persona, Pendragon, and Zodiac are the only ones left. The main bladers are them, like Chrome, Omega, you know what I mean? These top level bladers. I just feel like they're not going to show up, Chrome and Omega, until like the top floor or something. You know, it makes sense. Persona deals with these floors going up, but at the very top, Omega and Chrome haven't lost. They haven't lost, you know? Yeah, I don't think Chrome's really counts. I don't think. But yeah, Omega damn sure hasn't lost, and I think they'll have Chrome back for a battle. You know what I mean? But yeah, they haven't fully lost. Besides, like, Chrome losing to X. But maybe at the end of all of this, they're all on top of the tower. Like, Chrome's there, Omega's there, Persona's there. And then when the battle's over with 1 and X starts going rogue. They're all sitting there, like, shocked. And then Zero loses his damn mind. He starts going with that, yo, and starts going and clapping and shit big time again. He's like, this is exactly what I've been waiting for, and the future truly begins now. And it's X going rogue, going crazy. And this one, he shows the feed. Because X's power goes rogue. Maybe it's under the true X, alongside Zero or something. I don't know. Maybe Bird can bring him back, and I think if X goes rogue and goes on this big-time tear, there's only one blader who could stop him, because everybody else couldn't, that being Bird. It'll feel like a Vault versus Shu type of moment with it. But Bird getting his first big-time win ever. It builds him up, being one of the top bladers, especially being able to win against X. It establishes him up there. You know what I mean? Either against X, who's gone rogue, or Zero. And Bird wins this, and it establishes this man at the top. Because we haven't gotten this new Bay yet, you know. The rumored Bay name is Hell's Nether. But we haven't seen it. It makes sense. It drops a little bit later. That being the Bay. He uses Hell's Nether and wins. Whether it's Zero or it's X. Yeah. But with this sequence, at some point with this, even maybe at the end of the season, it will be the wildest thing with it, but some point at the top of the X, I think this is where it's going to happen. The top of the true X during the X Tower battle, Zero unmasks. And then we see what he truly looks like. Maybe he does so and explains everything to X to piss X off and make his power go wild. Maybe it happens after all of his plans go through, you know. But when one loses and all of his plans go through to the point where he's like, I don't have to unmask anymore, he takes the mask off and we see what he truly looks like. A crazy theory I saw is, what if it's X from the future because he never lost, and then he comes back and, you know, it's actually him from the future that's masked as Zero? Which that'll be weird. That'll be like a crazy paradox freaking Pokemon Scarlet Violet type shit. I personally don't see it being that way. If it is, I'll obviously shit my pants and be like, oh my god. I don't see it being that way. Because it's like, he's the dad. So how could it be like X would be the dad of all the kids, including himself, which, you know, like, that'll be a weird paradox. I don't know about that one. But we see the design of what Zero looks like. You know what I mean? One of the things also with this is that we haven't seen Baito or Bite. We still have to see Bite and Zero interact, and I feel like it's like some Pluto, Rago, Nemesis connection type shit with that. Like, it'll feel just like that when these two meet up, you know? Because we haven't seen Bite and Zero interact, and that's a wild thing to me, that they haven't shown that off. We've seen everybody interact except for those two. When those two, you talk about the peak of evil and things getting that much worse, like, it's going to be like a crazy evil dragon with two heads, you know? I said 000 Syndicate before, which obviously Gigatani, Bite, and Zero. They cut one of the heads with Gigatani. Still two left, but we haven't seen those two interact, you know, Bite and Zero. And I feel like it's going to probably happen when things get really, really wild. And I won't be surprised if Zero's sitting there with this battle at the top of the True X Tower as well. But yeah, like Bite's waiting. It feels like Bite's waiting and wait even longer than Zero is. Because Bite's, we've been seeing this man like sitting in the shadows for 2 seasons. Zero has obviously been sitting in the shadows causing all this chaos with this season. But Bite's still sitting in the background with things, and it's going to be wild. Like seeing those two interact. But what if it ends? Regardless, I see this ending, regardless of how good it is, either like Persona gets the win against Zero and such, and then Zero leaves X City. Or you think of the worst case scenario, they ended on a cliffhanger with like X going evil or something like that, and that's the plot for season 4. Either or, you got a plot for it. Because I think regardless of what happens, Zero may leave X City, but there's still the whole world. I see the future being, my prediction for the future, a season 4 with focus on like the entire world. Because X City going wild, and I think they're going to expand beyond just the city. It's going to be the whole entire world that's going to be involved with this, because, you know, we haven't seen the whole world of things. Maybe this battle inspires X's to be put across the entire world championship, the story writes itself. But then Zero being out there after escaping from the city, but maybe it's like him unmasked or something. Who knows? You gotta wait and see, man. But regardless, it's gonna be wild how this ends when this man unmasks. And like I said, it's a theory video. This could age like milk. It could age like wine. Thus far, it's been aging like wine big time. I don't know how accurate it'll be for this end part, but still, it's gonna be wild. And I said the season was gonna be dark, and it's shown even with the darkness with everything thus far. And it's gonna get that much darker, and it's gonna be insane. And I'm still saying it. We're not ready. The True X Tower battle, when things happen with it, we're seeing the battles now, and they're still crazy hype and wild. But the very top of the True X Tower battle, for that one, we are truly not ready. It's going to be nuts, man. But anyways, you guys have any theories or anything, put them down in the comments. And I was going to say it was going to be 2 parts, but this kind of covered both of them. It covered all the loose ends I want to talk about. Remaining battles that I really want to see with it. The plot to build up to where Zero gets unmasked, but then at the same time it being like X. Same thing. Everybody knows who he is, so he's technically unmasked. And that'll cause full chaos, because that's like the symbol of X City being unmasked, and everything will crumble. Especially everybody finding out he's my 10th kid. He's trying to completely obliterate X City. That's why he's waiting. That's why he's waiting to show it off for this perfect moment when X absolutely goes wild. Zero's got this by design. It's going to be that much more wild and uglier. And like I said, even at this stage, we're not ready. But anyways, guys, I'm going to end this off. Hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to slice that like button down below. Let me know how I did. If you're new to my channel, definitely be sure to subscribe for some epic content because I upload daily. And if you haven't already, be sure to ring that bell with my channel name to be notified whenever I upload a video. My phone's getting low on battery, so I'm making sure it's not dying or anything. But we got through it and said everything I needed to. Perfect timing because it's about to die. But we got this. Well, anyways, till next time, it's your boy Kimbo signing off. See you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. When the latest episode 128 gets subbed, I'll watch it. Of course, till then, you know, patience and plenty of content on the way. Got a lot of things planned, especially with the drought of things now. Creativity ramps up that much more. I thrive in this type of environment, man. I'm gonna be creating. But till next time, it's your boy Kimbo signing off. See you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. Till then, stay awesome and cool. Shoot, I'm up out of here. Thanks for watching, guys.